Hey everybody, and welcome to the Jeep Life Podcast Live Edition. We're coming to you on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Share out and tell your friends about it. Share us with them. More listeners mean more gooder.
More gooder?
More
More
gooder.
gooder.
It's betterer.
More better, gooder.
I feel like I'm back here in the dark.
Are you feeling non-illuminated?
Yeah. Mike coming to the rescue. Evening, Mike.
That helped. Jason, you got to turn that one on.
I don't think that one's plugged in. Oh, it gets unplugged so we can plug the device into charge over the week. That's right. What's up, Brendan?
That's better. That's better. Ooh, that's warm.
Not too warm? No, that's like
Yeah, man. Missed it for sure.
real life.
Oh, yeah, I missed it.
That's better.
Wish I could have been there. Duty calls. Yo. Yeah, we're building up. It's nice.
Consistency.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Steve.
We had a good weekend.
Zabs. Zabbity dabbity.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Mr. Joe, I think you closed your group. Didn't you just close that group?
What? Huh?
I'm just seeing everyone jumping on. Some familiar friends and some familiar faces.
Yeah. Always good to see people and see them on here. And just posting it out. Sorry, guys. So we're gonna talk all things Jeep today. Not all things, just some things.
No, all things. We're going to go Jeep, 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 Jeep.
Jeep, 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 Jeep.
That's all things Jeep.
It is all things Jeep. Is that it? Roush or AOA for reclaim? I don't remember.
That's going to be down. Is that going to be at the same place there, Steve? It's like the, what do they call it? The fairgrounds down there.
Yeah.
That's it. That was a nice little, and I did get that video out and cleaned up, so I'm going to get that posted up.
Yeah.
I know we just talked about that the other day.
If you need any help with it, let me know. Putting it up or...
Yeah, I thought it like got lost somewhere, and then I went digging
Found it.
and found it again.
Gotcha.
It was a lot easier once I realized like what the date was, and that was
Mhm.
embarrassingly a while ago, but we'll get that up there, and that'll help set the stage for Reclaim 5.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They had a good turnout at
Cool.
that.
Maybe I'll make it this year. Who knows?
It's right in my travel nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's changing and different, so who knows?
This was the end of June, so it was
Up,
like when
Dave.
I was going down for July 4th weekend, so I kind
Yeah.
of stopped in there. I had a crew with me,
Nice.
a boatload of teenagers
Mm.
and my 10-year-old.
Yeah, that is tricky.
Yeah, they had a good time. They had
All right, take a moment and share it out if you can with your friends. We'll take like 10 seconds, and then I'm going to hit the button and get rolling.
the button.
Yeah, I'm still trying to catch up from the weekend.
I want to get like one of those USB like multi-purpose, but just literally a big red button,
That was
like
easy.
a plunger.
Right. All right, I'm going to do it.
Do
You
it.
can't stop me.
Hit the button.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Jeep Life podcast. We are proudly presented by Armorlight, the toughest flooring on the trail. I can't say enough great things about them. Our thanks to Armorlight for being our presenting sponsor, and you guys and gals, exclusive Armorlight discount, Jeep Life Podcast 10 for a complete Armorlight system at goarmorlight.com. Our thanks to Armorlight for being the bestest of friends for us.
Jason cleaned his already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I came back. I wish I could just post that. We got to figure that out. But I had a nice scrub down, wash out, pulled those plugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Done.
It took me 15 minutes, and that included fully drying and leaving it open in the sun, and it was done, clean, dry,
Done.
closed.
I just
Looks
pressure
brand
washed.
new.
I just pressure washed it.
Yeah.
like always.
Well, the rest of my interior is not quite as compatible to pressure washing as yours.
Yeah, I mean it probably isn't either, but I just pressure washed it. It was fine.
I just.
But it keeps my feet cooler.
It does.
I know.
Always.
Yeah,
It's
that's
amazing.
all
I
good
always
for
say
you.
that it keeps my feet cooler. Huge difference. We always deal with that. Biggest benefit, I say, hands down. So
Yep,
there
Yeah.
you go.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
That's my
Yeah,
plug.
I had I drove Lexi's Jeep today. She took mine to school for whatever reason, and she's lost a plug, her driver's side plug.
Which one? What color is it?
I don't even know. I think it's just a black one.
I have extras.
Do you? All right. Well, I'll steal one from you before I leave today.
So, like, I think every time we see Armorlight, they kind of throw me and you an extra set of plugs. They're like, here, you probably
Yeah.
need these.
Yeah.
Like, or if not, you're going to
You
come
know
across
somebody that
somebody
needs
that
these.
is
Yeah.
going to need
That's
one
correct.
because
Yeah.
they tore a
That's right.
Yeah.
thing or this or that. So I have one.
All right. Perfect.
We'll get that taken care of.
Perfect. So good to see people on.
And by the way, you
the-
can only ask for plugs if you're in person. You cannot send me messages online or
That's right.
anything of the sort.
I'll give you the link to
go
to
purchase
go
them.
purchase them. But yeah, our thanks to Armorlight for always being great friends, and it's good to see people on, in our comment section. It always makes the show
It definitely helps.
so much better. I am Jeep and Terry, and I am joined by the best people on the planet.
Jetty Jason.
Yeah, how you doing?
That's
Jason?
me.
That's you.
I'm so glad I'm one of the best people on the planet.
Oh.
At least for you, Terry.
Yeah, and you are one of the best people within 4 feet of me.
Yeah, I am your favorite person to your right.
That's right.
Well, I'm glad.
And across the table from him,
Breakabilly, what's going on, Terry?
man, I'm just living
He
my
didn't
best
break
life.
that much. There was not as much breakage as usual.
There is probably something broken. I just haven't found it yet. I mean,
That means it's not truly broken.
there was some questionable moments.
It's more like bent Billy.
Well, that means you guys went out wheeling this weekend.
Yeah.
We did jeeping.
We did Jeeping.
You
we
did
went
Jeeping.
Jeeping.
You did
You
Jeeping.
You
We did
Jeeped.
Jeeping.
I jeeped.
We all Jeeped.
We all jeeped.
We just Jeeped in different ways.
Oh my god, I jeeped.
We were sad you weren't Jeeping with us.
I was sad
and
I wasn't
and I was a little bit bummed that
Yeah.
where you were.
Yeah, it was awesome to be able to get out there and do. I went down to the fall New Jersey Jeep Invasion for work. We were the official lighting sponsor
Okay.
of New Jersey Jeep Invasion, and it was great to go down there. And I had never been to their more recent years when they park on the
Right. So
the
how
boardwalk.
was that? Because I was
Fantastic.
was the logistics fine, like getting in and on and off the.
Yeah, it was. So the vendor, I got there early.
Sure.
We get on the boardwalk and start getting set up.
Sure.
There were only a handful of vendors there. It wasn't a big vendor type show.
It wasn't the July event.
Right, exactly. And then everybody else meets in a specific parking lot. I think the north end of
And then they
the boardwalk.
Reel you in there.
Yeah, and my understanding is the parking lot isn't big because nothing's big at the shore. I mean,
No.
no parking lot's big at the shore.
Nope.
And then you basically just come onto the boardwalk. The police kind of start the parade, if you will,
Sure.
of leading. And my understanding is we get about a mile or so of boardwalk space. And this year, about 350 Jeeps there,
Okay.
and I mean, great turnout. Some really cool Jeeps, and they stagger the parking so that there's 2 rows, but it's kind of every other.
Yep.
And it literally went right up to the end of the space that we have. So tons and tons of space. Of Jeeps in that small space. Jamie and Allison and Jim and everybody on their team is just fantastic. They run a great show. They've been doing it for a while. They know what to do, and it was good to see them. Good to be down there. I was actually surprised at it being a selling show, because I was the only vendor there, I think, selling anything. I didn't even bring product, but I just order stuff online, and people were excited about it. A lighting company, it's everybody needs lights for their Jeeps, right?
Mhm.
Everybody needs it. So it was great conversations, got to see great people, and then we shut that down and then headed over to Ludlam Island Brewery and did a glow party with about 60 Jeeps there. So about 1/6 of the population
Okay.
of
Did you have an
people.
adult beverage? And
I-
how was it?
I did not, but there were people there that did. I grabbed some food there.
Oh,
I rushed there and grabbed some food before the
gotcha.
party. The food was fantastic. The staff was incredible.
So
My
you
understanding,
do not have a beer review for the people.
I don't. But everybody else was very positive about the beer.
Okay. Well,
Um,
that's good to know.
I haven't had a beer in a while, and I'm not.
That's fine.
I'm not going to. I don't think. I don't know. It's all up in the air. But if I had to grade their beer on not having beer,
How did it look?
it would have been an A+.
Okay.
Because
all right.
they had outdoor seating with a live band.
So the
It's the best
atmosphere.
beer I've never
yeah,
had.
yeah, and
atmosphere.
plenty of seating inside
Cool.
and
Right.
large parking lot. It was. I thought it was a really great location. It was probably 25 minutes away.
Mm.
Okay.
So I thought that might be a drawback, just being that far away. But it wasn't. Everybody made the drive out there. There were small pockets of
Right.
Jeeps that
and
came
you're
out.
you're there for a thing,
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's
So it was great. We gave out an award for the winner. Brett won with his pirate-themed
oh yes. Is that
Jeep.
Black Sea? Is that
Black
Seas?
Sails.
Black Sails. That's right.
Yeah, I think is the name. I'm glad you said that because that reminded me. Just there was a lot of detail that went into there. A lot of the lights are synced. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but I actually really dig when people put effort into into their vehicle in that way. It's not for me, but it's for them and killer. And there were 2 or 3 that were, I don't want to say honorable mentions, but they were basically tied for second place. They were one dude. he's really cool. I don't remember his name. I wish I did. But he actually has built doors, like tube doors, that have lights in them.
Oh, that's cool.
And so he can do designs in the doors with lights. And it was super, super unique. And I really, really enjoyed seeing it. I thought it was awesome.
I'm different.
Well, I loved being there. I really enjoyed it. Oh, I think from the Peanut Gallery, his name is Tom. But it was really cool. And I would normally this weekend be with you guys.
Yeah.
And we knew this when we were planning it. There was no other weekend that we had available. So I had, I didn't have to choose. Work chose for me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't with you guys, and I can't wait to hear about both of your camping, off-road, Jeep enthusiast events of Eastern Pennsylvania Fall Trail Ride.
Yeah, I mean, well, we went up. It was a little different this year.
Yeah, well, we didn't have our usual.
We
We
didn't
usually do
have-
like a pre
Pre-
Friday.
Yeah, pre-run
Like,
day.
we have like our core crew will go out and wheel.
Yep.
Like no bars, not like whatever.
Go where
Like
we
we go
want,
do what we
what
want to
we
do, whatever
want.
the group wants. It's a smaller group. Maybe I think the max we've ever had is like 8, 10
Mm-hmm.
with us. Sometimes we split and do different lines because we're all
Mhm.
different vehicles,
capabilities. and-
but we all hang out all day together, and then that leads us into the Friday night, which
shenanigans.
shenanigans. But we usually have a great camping
Mhm.
situation. We had some more friends this time
Yeah.
from the club.
Yep.
So that population went up,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think you had a couple of different
Yeah, so
engagements.
Yeah, my day seriously changed because, as if you know, or if you don't know, I changed jobs. So I actually had to work all day on Friday, like a big boy. And then also I've been dealing with a lot of different things going on with my sister's Jeep. The little sister's having some transmission issues still. And also the buggy had some issues of rear truss being slightly ripped off from the last time I was out. So I was kind of in crunch mode to get all that together, fix it. My sister's Jeep still hasn't been fixed. Buggy got back together enough to take it up, have a good old time all weekend. So that turned into packing again on Friday before when I got home from work. And then heading up there, that turned into
Like you're still at work. Come on, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Well, I had things to do, and I
know,
had,
but I'm just saying. I'm sitting there like, come on.
I know I had important things, man. So then get up there. It was like 8:30 or something by the
a
time
little
I got
later.
up there. Yeah, it was.
But
late.
there was a good source, Jim, that it was like, hey, it was a work day and
Yep.
everyone came up, so that was fine.
Yeah, and then the trail ride went off without a hitch. It was to benefit Tires for Tumor, so it's a charitable organization that helps with pediatric brain tumors.
Oh,
So
right.
great organization doing great work for those kids, trying to help them out and make it easier for them. So that was what we were riding for on Saturday as well. And yeah, so good time, went out, hit the blues, blacks, reds, did all the fun stuff. And yeah, crawled some lines that I haven't done before, made some new lines, tried some funky things, did some cool things. And then it ended with pizza and hanging in some adult beverages. Yeah.
Perfect.
And Marie was with me, so it was an awesome time. Got to spend a good day with, the girlfriend. and
Yeah.
Everything of the sort.
Yeah. Well, I saw some videos because she
Yep.
was jumping out taking some videos.
Yeah, so it was awesome. She was my main media girl.
It's nice to have somebody that can jump out and do the video.
It's so funny, though, because, like, she even said, she was like, you just mute it because you're just going to hear me like, oh, no, ooh.
That's so true.
An AI voice remover. It's like remove all the oohs and ahs.
No, it's actually it's awesome because she
I think it
defi-
makes more endearing. It's,
Yeah, and she definitely cares. Like she wants me to be safe out there, and like she's having
She's
an
the one.
anxiety panic attack on the
right.
side of the trail. I'm like, it's
No,
fine.
no, don't do it. It's like, but you're upside down. It's all right.
fine.
But did I die? No.
But and I have gotten a lot smarter about things out on the trail because safety is a key, important thing being out on the trail.
You need to
So
live to wheel another day.
yep, putting a lid on my lid, and I only trust Axle Off-Road to keep me safe. So gonna throw a shout out there to Axle Off-Road. If you're looking for a helmet, head over to those guys because they're gonna hook you up. They just came out with a new DOT helmet as well, so for side-by-sides and stuff like that.
Killer.
Jason, how was your ride?
It was good. I mean, you were toned down a little bit. You were blues and blacks this time.
I mean, I still
did
went
my-
pretty crazy.
And did a red.
I did a bunch of reds.
Well, okay, so
Yeah.
that's sort of like Terry when he says, "I'm gonna just do greens." It's like, you're gonna really do blues.
And maybe dip the
We're
toe
gonna
in
do
the black.
greens on the way to the blues.
But there's also like a blue trail running next to the red offshoot
Right,
that
yeah.
I just go and mess around with and
That's
then
right.
jump back on.
Nobody takes that sideways.
Well, there was one guy that, tried to take it sideways and
There
didn't.
you go. So I had a good group. A lot of people that have been out with me before, people I knew. I had a couple of new faces. Yeah, it was just good. I usually run the green blue intermediate stuff, so people that have been out but want to just do a little extra. Did a lot of the west side.
Yeah.
So that would be my report is like, I never really spent a lot of time out there. We went all the way out bootlegger, all the way to the end,
Okay.
Oh.
all the way to the sands, all the way around the sands, all the way both Love Lake and Dead Lake or Heart Lake and Dead Lake,
Yeah.
all that outer
did go
reaches.
Out there, yeah.
Because you never invest the time. And I ask everybody, you guys know
I don't think I've ever been that far out.
Okay.
Me either.
So
Neil and I keep threatening to go out there, and I never.
we did
Alright.
we did 18 miles.
That's a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
So the big part of it is
Usually you
your
do-
5.2 miles just going out. I didn't go 100% bootlegger. I picked it up like the second entry point down 102.
That's
So that we were like in the trees are turning colors. So like even one of the folks that was with us, one of our friends was like, this is like already the best. This is so great.
Yeah.
We just got really fortunate with the weather and everything.
Yeah.
So they were having a great time starting out for the day. But yeah, so went out there because I said, does anybody have an agenda? No agenda. Anybody, you expect somebody to go, yeah, let's hit Fern. I want to get my badge. Nope. No agendas.
Yeah.
No baggage. So we just said, hey, let's explore. And so we
That's
just made the
perfect.
time for the day. We had the whole day. We did nothing but the west side, went all the way out.
That's perfect.
So that's kind of my report. Where that was a unique day.
And I love the fall and spring rides that you can do just that, and it becomes very scenic.
Yep.
And not so much trying to, kill yourself as you will. That's awesome. I truly missed it. I mean, I had a great time. Don't get me wrong, but I truly missed it.
Well, I was thinking of you down there because I knew what the weather was. Obviously, we talk about my proficiency of the beaches.
Yeah. I had perfect weather in the beach.
So I
It
knew
was-
that you were having a great day down there. I knew people asked, "Where's Terry?" We told them. We said, "Hey, but he's having a great time."
Yeah. Coming up later in this episode, we are going to do an Aux Switch Showdown. So get your Aux Switch ideas going, and we'll talk about those and lead in. We're always asking for listener input. The biggest way you can give us input is give us a review. Go out there and review wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts or whatever. Go and review that. If you have a question, have a comment, have a concern, email us at info@jeeplifepodcast, or you can leave us a listener voicemail at 484-272-5436. I'll put that in the show notes as always. But we are always calling in or begging for listener input. So we appreciate that. It helps people find us and makes our day better. Speaking of listener input, our friend Joe Timmons shot us a in-show question, and it's kind of an interesting one, and I think it would be cool to spend a couple minutes. I know I haven't done a heck of a lot of research on this, but why do you guys think Gladiator sales have fallen off a cliff? And part 2 of that is, what can Jeep/Stellantis do to revive the model?
I do know I just heard a story about Stellantis cutting production back. I think because they're trying to keep the prices the way that they've been kind of escalated.
Yeah.
So I think, they started reloading.
So a couple things.
What do you got? Let's you look like you're
I got
pent
a
up with
couple
thoughts.
ideas.
Ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So number one, the Gladiator, it was a really good, awesome idea, poorly executed.
Mm.
And what's your where
I
do you
think
come from on that?
I think
one?
the bed is too short. I think exactly as Jamie just alluded to, the motor's pathetic. It doesn't have a very good towing capacity.
Mm.
It isn't a Jeep truck. When you think Jeep truck, you should think rugged, heavy-duty truck.
Mm.
And if you look at a sport version of that thing, it's like
Not even that. It's something that, could actually tow like 7 to 10,000 pounds and
it can't.
tow it easily.
Yeah.
And it can't.
No, its max capacity is 7,500.
Yeah, and that's like with the tow package and nothing in the bed, and you have your
And you don't have a
and-
cup full of water in the
right,
car.
exactly,
Right.
and your paddles out the side.
Full disclosure, I want a Gladiator so bad
Right,
I can't stand
absolutely, I get
it.
it. The bed's not long enough either.
But what
You
drive?
can't
But
even,
hang on, I want to hang on. I
You
want to tap
can't
into that.
lay down in the bed.
Okay,
True.
but I want to hear. Your you're very.
Yeah.
You bubbled right up there. So, what what attracts you to it, and what do you identify with on that vehicle model?
Here's basically what it boils down to is I want a little more storage when I travel in my Jeep than what I have available.
So would you just run a tonneau cover
I would,
on it, or
I would
you
run probably some sort of tonneau cover.
Okay.
With a medium to small rack. I don't know that I would do anything big. I wouldn't put a tent on it. I wouldn't do any of that. But when I throw my and this is more for overlanding or long distance traveling.
Okay.
When I put my Gazelle tent in my Jeep,
It doesn't
It
fit.
consumes
it doesn't
the vehicle.
fit. I literally have to put the passenger seat all the way forward, put the back seats down, and lay it on a diagonal.
So
It's
here-
not so much that I want, because plain and simple, the Gladiator is a mediocre.
I have a question for you. Does your Gazelle tent fit in the bed with the tailgate up
Yes.
in a straight line?
Yes.
It does? Okay.
Yes.
You're just like looking to
What
prove
else
that
can
point.
you put in that bed then?
Well, the Gladiator, the Gazelle only cuts about a foot and a half.
I know.
of it.
I'm just like,
But it's the Gladiator isn't a great vehicle being a truck.
Correct.
And it's just a long version of a long Jeep, right? if you think about
they
it,
gave it an extra 10 inches
right. It's
with a more versatile trunk.
yeah.
Right.
So
Like
I
it's all
sort of-
they did.
yes.
literally that's
I like where Kate was coming from.
That's
Bring
where-
back the Comanche. Yeah, give me the long bed. Like,
Yeah.
there you
It's not
go.
even, that's not a Comanche. It's like even if they
Comanche
had an
kinda had the-
extended cab,
Yeah, right.
but you need, even if they put a 6.5 foot bed on the Gladiator currently,
yeah.
Right. something more
You can-
standard.
Right.
Not the abbreviated. It's almost like having an avalanche. Like it's it's just like
yeah.
a
But
short
it's-
bed.
But you can't lay the seats down and get a full 8-foot sheet of plywood in and close the
Right,
the
because
tailgate.
it's
like you
divided.
can on the
Right.
Avalanche.
Right.
It's kind of interesting because you want the Ram, the F-150, the Chevy, the
Right.
GMC people to be interested in that vehicle. I think that's what the initial thought process of when they were marketing that vehicle. They're
Right.
But
thinking
an F-150
but
has a
it's not-
6.5-foot bed
it's not
Or
a
more.
replacement
or
for
more.
right? It's not a replacement for that. And it until Jeep does a replacement for that, I'm not sure that it's going to.
It needs bigger axles. It needs more towing. It needs to have a better stance. It needs a bigger bed. It was poorly executed. Number one. Number two.
Yep.
Here's number two. That was just number one and wrapped up half of it. Number two is I believe that the people that bought them and wanted them has bought them and got them. Mostly.
So I don't disagree with you. I think Stellantis and Jeep and people in general, they see the Wrangler and they see the Gladiator, right? Those are two specific sub-brands.
Platforms, yeah.
I think that the Gladiator and Stellantis thought of this as well. The Gladiator is not its own thing. I think it's a subsect of the Wrangler.
Well,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it
Right,
is.
so
we just
it-
talked about it. It's
Yeah,
just
it is.
basically, hey, I'm going to give up my hard top out the back end and stretch it out a bit and
Right.
then make it a bed
Right.
instead of this.
Right.
So I think that's totally fine.
It's the
Um,
difference between buying a Suburban and an F-250.
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty much.
Like,
Well,
Yeah.
Barry in the comments says, hey, we got it for the beach, and as a avid beach goer,
Yep.
I would attest, like, you know what, that does work really well. It's very effective for the amount of stuff. Like, hey, guess what? You're knocking the bed length, but you know what you can fit? You can fit an easy up in there. You can fit, a ton of chairs, this, that,
Mhm.
the other, a grill. It works for that amount of stuff. I think it's when you have like that more utility use is where you
right.
have a little trouble with it.
It's not a vehicle
It's not for that
to
purpose.
go to Lowe's and load it up with cinder blocks or mulch or what you can, but it's not going to have
but
the
you
same
get
capacity.
you get 6 in there, and it's
right.
full.
It's not got the capacity. It doesn't have the suspension. It would need a full Dana 60 in the rear. It would need
No, it's
No.
just this is also why I can't get rid of my minivan, because I can put a 4x8 sheet of plywood in that thing and close the hatch.
Right.
yeah.
This
Chunk.
you can't.
Yeah.
Like I have put like 6 sheets of stuff in there and like
It doesn't
And
need
we're
a
going.
Dana 60. It needs a solid Dana 44 with the proper frame and suspension underneath of
Yeah.
it. And that would be fine. It could tow some decent weight.
But
I mean, obviously Dana 60, that takes it to an F-250 style.
Right. Well, you go to Jeep's website right now. The max tow capacity is only available in the Sport and the Sport S model. You can't get it in a Rubicon, and you can't get it in the Overland.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
See,
Really?
You
I mean,
know,
that's
who loves the Gladiator though? My son.
I
and
get
I
it.
said the good news is by the time you start driving,
They're going to be real cheap.
you're
They're
gonna be-
real cheap.
I'm
Don't
gonna go
worry.
pick one up
You'll go-
any
you get
style
one
you
cheap.
want.
So here's number 3. To finish this out, I think the economy's changed a little bit. Interest rates went up. The
Mhm.
the
That's
whole
true.
entire car market in general has taken a major hit.
Well, it's also rebounded. The
it's
inventories have
right.
come back. Things are
So
not like
now they have a whole
crazy.
bunch of inventory. They're not getting sold. They just can't get rid of them, and that's why. And also the rebates and stuff are ridiculous, and people just don't.
and they don't
buying
and
cars
they don't
right
really
now.
put them on sale. Although I think the Gladiator they started doing, but Wranglers in general, like you go
No.
talk to the Jeep dealerships. I remember talking to the one manager a while back, and he goes, Grand Cherokee, this, that, the other.
It's all
I
there.
got all sorts of promos and deals. Wrangler? Nope.
nope.
You have to pay me money.
And then that's the other thing is, I think Jeeps have just and this is true with Bronco as well.
Oh,
they've kind
agreed.
of priced themselves into a into a it's just outside the reach of
into a rut.
Yeah,
Like they're
and-
kind of in a rut where if that's not where you live, you're not down with picking that up brand new at 55, 60,000. Hang
Yeah.
on, like 38 was sort of like great. Like you can get a really nice
Yeah.
performing rugged vehicle
Yeah.
for, but now it's 10, 15, 20 beyond that, especially depending on what trim you get.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a great in our question, Ed.
Side note.
I love it. There are some things that are good with the GAT if you have the diesel engine that has torque in it.
Yeah, but they don't have. They technically don't have the towing capacity
It still
because
doesn't
they don't have the cooling capacity
Right.
to keep it cool.
right. There's just some things that it's not a great truck, and it's too long of a Jeep to be a great Jeep. I know. Don't get me wrong. I wheeled a Gladiator out in Moab on 37s. It's awesome. I did everything that everybody else did. I love a Gladiator. Still want to get one, but it's not. I don't think it's a vehicle for the masses. It's a subsect of a subsect in the industry.
It's a particular platform, and I just want to like kind of keep going with where you were just going and say that's the comment about my son loves that vehicle. Like he sees Jeeps and he goes, Dad, that's the Jeep I want when I can have a Jeep. And it's because he likes going fishing, he likes being outdoors, he likes his sports and everything, and it's got enough space for all of that. It's got enough space for the fishing, it's got enough to take stuff to the boat. Might not be able to tow that big of a boat, but you get the point. Is the whole overlanding thing. He saw, Billy, this time around you had your tent rack set up on the
He
on
was
the
probably
tow
tickled
vehicle.
pink about that. He
But
loved it.
that's where, because he's seen the overlanding Jeeps at the shows, and he goes,
like, "Oh,
that's
yeah.
super
Yeah.
cool. Like where they've got it, especially the folks that are really into it and
Yep.
have all the accoutrements.
Oh yeah.
He's like, it's like a Decepticon to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he really,
Right.
he identifies with what you said, Terry. Is like, is it the right thing for what people might assume it was trying to be, or can you just enjoy it for what it actually is?
Right.
And that's, I think, the point.
And I think that's the struggle that Jeep's having with it right
It's an
now.
identity crisis
Yep.
vehicle.
I love that. Come up with your questions. Send it to us. You can do it. Day of show is sketchy because we may not have the bandwidth to discuss it, but send it to us and we'll put it in somewhere. Events are, it's toward the
Over.
end of the event schedule.
We
We've
have
got
October
some
19th coming up with Crawling for Canines at AOAA. If you'd like to come out and support the canines that help and support the police force.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's a great time to come out. There's still some tickets available. Just Google Crawling for Canines AOAA. You'll be able to get your tickets. I am leading the Black Red group. I still have some spots available, I believe. And Jason, you are?
I'm doing, like I was explaining earlier, my green blue
Yep.
kind of intermediate group for those that have been out but want to bounce around on something a little more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That same weekend, the Creepy Jeepy
Creepy
Mm.
Jeepy.
at the Cape May Zoo in New Jersey, put on by Blinker Food Productions.
Shirt sales
that's a
just
good time. We
closed.
went to that.
Oh yeah, we did,
before.
and I loved it. I
It was
love
a good time.
Yeah, everybody decorates. I mean, it goes all out decorating.
Oh,
for
yeah?
that. So make sure to check that out if you're not going to be at Crawling for Cops or Crawling for Canines rather. It's always a good time. All of Jamie's shows are great. Yeah.
Sweet.
October 24th through the 17th or 27th. I'm sorry, can't read. That's the Myrtle Beach Jeep Jam down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've never been there. I've been to Myrtle Beach, but I've never been to the Jeep Jam. I think that would be fun. November 8th through the 10th is Virginia Beach Jeep Fest. I want to go to that. I love Virginia Beach. I've got a lot of friends down there, so I'd love to hit that up. November 9th is Women's Wheeling event and at AOAA. 2 events. I think Evolution is going to be out
Evolution's
there.
got one of their rides
Yeah.
going too.
So that'll be 2 events going on, and a lot of the same people that would go to.
Well, this has been
Yeah.
the crisis. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like this weekend we were talking about, oh, it feels a little light. And then it's like, oh, we completely intersected with Jeep Invasion Fall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So try to make it there. If I don't go to Virginia Beach, who knows? And then just in August 9th, 2025, Reclaim 5 at Burlington County Fairground. So get that on your calendars for next August. Woo. All right. So yeah, it's slowing, it's winding down, but there's still great stuff to do this fall. Now we're going to go into the main topic.
Yeah.
It's your Aux Switches Showdown. So what kind of came up with this? I'm flat out, I'm going to full disclosure. I work for Oracle Lighting. Oracle Lighting has acquired trigger controllers, and that's got me in I want new controllers for my Jeep. And I was like, why don't we kind of do a buying guide / stuff for our listeners? And we kind of put the top 5 brands out there that you see, and I kind of did it in order of expensiveness.
Mm-hmm.
So I ordered it less expensive to the more expensive. Ish. No science to it. So, but I just want to put out full disclosure. I work for the company that runs Trigger. I do have my opinions before we purchase the company. So, I will express those.
I'm going to get you a T-shirt for these segments. It says, like, standard disclaimer applies.
I know, right? So I thought we'd kick it off with Voswitch, VOSWITCH, Voswitch. I mean, easiest way to find that one's Amazon, probably. This is the one I currently have in my Jeep.
Okay.
Purely utilitarian. It has done a really nice job
functions.
for 3 or 4 years. No bells and whistles, other than perhaps, it gives you a reading of the battery.
Okay.
On the display. I mean, there's a little bitty tiny display right in the center. You got six switches right in the middle of that.
Where is your switch pod located?
Right
I think
above
that's a
the
differentiator
mirror.
here. Okay.
Right above the mirror. I know that they make a version, and the typical place is for a JL is over the mirror on the windshield. I mean, for the JK.
JK.
The JL is now kind of that grab handle.
Yeah.
And they make a version for both. So I don't think you'd be remiss doing either way. I don't remember if we want to get technical with it. I think that there's it's a 12-volt system. I don't remember if every switch is the same number of watts or volts.
Usually got the same relays in them.
Yeah, I think it's total amp rating of 100 amp max. Each circuit amp is a 30 amp. So you're not gonna hook up 6 winches to it or anything. But some lower amperage lights up to the bigger ones, you'll be fine. So and here we're going to mainly talk about 6 switches. I think most of these have 4 and 6 and 8 gangs on them, but right now we're talking mainly 6s.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The cool thing about this is it does have that power module that sits under the hood. Then you run that straight to the battery, and then you run all your auxes to that internally, and then you run the controller through the firewall.
Yep.
And that's going to be true for all of these except for one.
Yep. Which we'll talk about in a bit.
We'll talk about in a bit. Anybody got any strong feelings or comments about the Aux Switch?
No, I mean, I think it's a good design. It's simple, straightforward, looks like it works well. So JK, pretty sweet, just standard, straightforward. The JL, though, they kind of get into some cooler, more like grab handle mounted switches.
Yep.
They're very small versus,
the big rocker switches.
yeah, the big rocker switches, or like that panel where it's like, 8 squares that you have to push.
Yeah,
so
that's
this
that
just,
other one that.
it mounts up on your grab bar, and they have, it looks like an 8 and a 6 and a 4 grab handle switches. So that's kind of cool if you're looking for something different.
8
Yeah.
seems like those would be
Yeah.
small down that. And Heather said that she had, I guess they had a variety that, because I was going to comment about the Mopar at some point here,
Yeah.
I was just
that
getting
is
to that.
located for the JLs in that
The lower
that
switch.
lower switch bank that is a blank.
Right
that
by
can
the
take-
switch shift.
Right,
Yeah.
that can take it's a 4. I think it's a 4-channel.
That's
that fits in that.
6
Oh.
with a power
Okay.
Oh, for
All
them.
right.
for the JLs.
Okay.
So it's the
The Mopar is a
Aux
4, I
Switch
think.
JL 300 lower dash switch panel for Jeep Wrangler JLs.
All right.
Gotcha.
It's fairly reasonably priced, actually. So
Yep. Yeah, the Mopar one is a 4 switch.
But that one's unique. If I guess we'll segue around,
that
but
one runs through
that also talks
your-
to the Uconnect and the
Right.
car. So that is designed to interface with
Larger-
other aspects of the vehicle, and you can also toggle things and program it to run things even if it's off.
Yeah.
If the vehicle is off, if you want to keep it held on, or if you wanted ignition. So that's a little bit, but the
Mhm.
trade-off is it's Mopar. It's going to be priced a little higher than
Right.
some of the more capable third-party switches, but it's got that stock look, the stock build, and the
Mhm.
integration.
So
And when we look at this, most of the Voss Switch are under $200.
Yep.
Right. From like 130 to 199.
yeah. Some of them get above, but yeah, it's fairly reasonable in there.
Oh, that's not bad. Because that
Mhm.
Mopar, I know, is pushing about 4 and change.
Mhm.
Yep.
So then we're going to kind of kick it off with the next. ProComp has a switch panel that you can still purchase.
Yeah.
Tell us more, Billy.
And I use this in both the buggy and my JK. It was kind of like the cheapest one that I could find around that was actually reasonably rated and had some pretty good features. So the SS6 6-way universal switch panel from ProComp. It's universal, obviously, so yeah, 6 switches and on-off glass aluminum like switch panel. So it's IP67 rated, so it is waterproof.
When you're pressure washing your interior.
Yeah, literally I just pressure wash everything, so it
Right.
does hold up. I could say that. And I didn't really think about it when I start pressure washing, the vehicle. And the only thing is, though, it is on-off only. It's not like programmable as in momentary, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Because I wish I had that feature.
When you want that train horn trigger
No, I
or
want
what?
start.
Oh, that's true. 'Cause,
It-
well, you have a
it-
unique, you
I
have
have a
a bit of a
unique
unique
situation.
application
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, so I wanted an ignition. However, doesn't work out for that. But it is IP67 rated, so the module itself is pretty nice. It's annoying to change out the fuses because you got to take the whole box apart. That's kind of
Oh,
a
yeah.
disadvantage.
That's
Yeah.
kind of a bummer.
Yeah, disadvantage.
They're
of
not like top mounted or anything like.
Nope.
Oh,
Yeah, with the
Comes-
Voss Switch, you actually have to take the
That up.
cover off to
Yeah.
get to the switches, but that
the cover doesn't
it's
seem to problem.
It's
If
a
you
This
thumb
is-
gotta-
screw.
This is the way you mount it. It mounts, kind of down.
Oh, okay.
And to get to the screws to unscrew the cover, they're underneath. So you have to unscrew it to get
Yeah.
to the screws to take it
Gotcha.
apart.
Oh.
No, yeah, that's a bummer.
So, but it works really well, and I put it through abuse and everything else. So,
Nice.
and it's like $249.
That was one I didn't have on there until we started talking about the episode, and I kind of like that. I will say that the future for that product is uncertain. But we can find it right now. I think at OK 4-wheel drive or
Four-wheel
parts
has it right now. Yeah.
which even they're in question.
Well, it says ship next business day.
So,
But if they're out of business, that's not.
that's
That
the-
could be a
that's-
day,
that's-
a day that never comes.
That's where I'm going with that. Who knows?
It's a
Who
day
knows?
that never
Sorry.
comes.
Next on the list is Auxbeam,
Yeah, pretty cool.
and it's the right now. If you go to Amazon, it's the quintessential.
Amazon
6-gang
special.
Switch.
Is it the overall pick?
I think it is the overall pick on
The
Amazon.
It's the Amazon pick.
Yep. Amazon
Or the
pick.
prime
There's
choice.
no. Is there a Beaver version?
It's the prime choice. That's what it is.
I have this particular one on the Gladiator and the JL at Oracle. So I have this on there, and it serves the purpose. It's very utilitarian. The switch is it's small, which I like. It's got 2 rows of 3, so that it's kind of a grid kind of banked in there, and you can do a full on-off switch on everything, so you can have it on and then hit that panel and everything turns on, which for me, demoing products is a good thing.
When you hit it and it's like Clark Griswold plugging the thing together, it's like,
Yeah.
and all the lights are on.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
You were working that visual out. You're like,
I don't even.
You're right. That is exactly it.
That's it exactly. I'm literally the on-off button is like me putting 2 extension cords together. Maximum power. It's a maximum current of a 60 amp with the 6-gang switch. So it's not. You're not going to be able to run all the high-powered stuff out of it. But if you've got 6 sets of, rock lights, shorter light bars, aux pods, all that stuff, a horn, your whip, all that stuff, that's perfectly fine. It'll fit under that 60 amp.
Radios, onboard radios.
Yeah, so
You can also use this to control an external higher rated
A
relay.
contactor.
Yes.
I mean, that would be
Yes.
what I would normally do is put like a contactor for the winch, because you could like have a complete cutoff.
Yep.
So yeah, external solenoid.
Yeah.
You could do that. And it's relatively inexpensive, between $140 and $200.
Yeah.
It serves its purpose. I think it's IP67 rated.
Kind of depends on the model you buy.
Which model? Yep. Some of them
Is
are waterproof. Some of them are
Is
not.
it pressure washing rated?
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly,
I
I
won't
don't
find
know that I would.
Exactly.
I think the Pro Comp I would feel comfortable doing that with.
Right.
This one I don't know that I
You
would
want
feel that comfortable
what is
with.
it? IP68 is water tight.
And with the Auxbeam, it doesn't feel like it's built for power.
Okay.
It's kind of a plastic, lightweight kind of thing. I don't feel like it's just built with that sturdiness that the previous ones have already been done. And then, of course, the last 2 are built for sturdiness. So it's perfectly fine. I like it. It works on our vehicles, and it'll be that way until I get triggers shipped and install triggers on those. Next is kind of been the standard for the high-end switches.
Well, they've taken it to another level, and
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, S-Pod.
Yeah. So S-Pods, I mean, top of the line. Obviously, you buy it. It is what is trusted and proven out in race situations, from Ultra 4 to NASCAR to everything in between. And there's kind of a couple reasons why. I mean, obviously the components that go into it, the housings that they're made out of, the physical like buttons and the panels that they use are very heavy duty. And, obviously they're a great company. They offer a rocker switch panel style. So that's 6 rocker switches on a panel that, communicates into the main box. They also have the mini 6-button kind of rubber button style. And then they also have an 8-gang rocker. They have the 8-gang kind of panel switch, I would call it. And now they even up their game even more. And they have a LED screen.
Like an OLED programmable.
Oh, yeah. So
That's
support...
totally my style. I got to nerd out on that thing.
Can support up to 32 different switches.
Whoa.
Excellent.
On-road, off-road modulation. So 2 different, page setups. Battery feedback, current draw on each individual channel.
Oh, see, then it's
voltage draw on each individual
They've got a solid state controller on the back end, not
this
just a straight relay.
This sucker comes to party.
What's the channel that now I want to nerd out on it. What's the power per channel on that?
I think
20,
they
30?
vary.
10.
Yeah, 8 circuits rated at 30 amps.
Yep. So that's that's
you
30
can do
each.
small solid state relays on that with power monitor. Yes, I can imagine how they've built that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat.
Fail-safe self-healing fault protection system from 1 to 30 amps.
Yeah.
100 amp inline fuse.
Bluetooth capability.
And can operate on 12 or 24 volts.
Yep.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Well, that's probably got applications.
Dimming, strobe, flash, momentary switch linking, on-road, off-road mode operations. I mean, you can connect it into third-party switches, computers,
Oh, that's
Arduinos,
super good, nerdy. I want
Raspberry
this thing.
Pi, Alpine audio systems.
Oh, look at this nerdy
You
thing.
can have the unit that goes between sensors, thermostat, pressure switchers, everything under the sun, all for a cool price of $915 plus tax and tax.
For that kind of price, if you put it in a Gladiator and you hit the button, does it make the bed get longer?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, S-Pod is...
They've been doing it for a while.
You can start your vehicle, if you have everything wired up for the ignition through an S-Pod, from, the app.
Yep.
Because they're Wi-Fi controlled,
I know.
too.
I already just started the buggy right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Actually, what I would do is I would just be super old school and wire it to a clapper and come out and just be like... Hey,
yeah, it could be connected
Billy.
to Siri and yeah.
Now, what kind of sets the last 2 apart from all the others is they also have vehicle-specific mounting options
Oh, there you go. That's
from the manufacturer.
and we really haven't commented on that, is because
Yeah.
I know
No.
I've been under your hood
Yep.
wiring things to the brick underneath,
Yep.
and so what?
So even that is kind of vehicle specific, but
It's really the switch panel and where it fits.
Mhm.
yeah. But everything about it comes with mounting plates and brackets depending on which vehicle application you order it for, and it's I to me that is a big deal, because if I let's say I get this for a vehicle and then all of a sudden I trade that vehicle in and I get another one, I can actually take that out, order the plate for the new one, and just put it so if I'm spending $1,000,
Correct. Well, certainly at that
I want
level,
to carry
yes.
it with me, right?
Yep.
Now, do you have an opinion of any of these that have the most, I think I'd say, aesthetic or stock look when they're mounted? I know the JLs look pretty good in that handle position. They're pretty convincing. Like, if you didn't know anything and you just saw it, it didn't look like a box that got zip tied in. It looks like it belongs there.
I think from an aesthetic standpoint, the grab handle or the A-pillar mount looks the best.
Okay.
From a functional standpoint, I grab a grab handle. I'm grabbing
all
it
the
for a
lights turn
reason,
on.
and my thumb hits a button and
Right.
turns something on.
That's a good. I actually was thinking about that.
I
when I first
am
saw
not a fan of that.
them. Okay.
So I like it intentionally placed somewhere.
Or
that's
in a place you're never
strategic.
going to bump it
Right.
unless you're purposely touching it.
Right. So I think that's a smarter way to do it, but it's personal preference. And in Lexi's Jeep, she has it on the A-pillar. So I've been in some JLs that have it on the handle, and that's easy and convenient. It's right there. The newer vehicles don't necessarily do well with mounting it over the mirror because there's sensors and stuff there. But the JKs do really, really well with that. Yeah, and like you said earlier with the S-Pod, you can do that with like the 509. I can run a switch through the signal through the dash and be able to tap it on the screen. That's pretty awesome. And that brings us to the trigger. Now, our Bronco has the trigger system in it, and I got introduced to this brand out in SEMA last year and fell in love with it. Thought it was the bee's knees. And there were multiple reasons for that, but there's multiple ways to input on this particular instance. And I'm going to talk about the Trigger 6-shooter, which is the 6-gang switch, which is kind of what we've been comparing everything to. With it, you have 3 inputs to be able to turn a light on or off, and one of them is actually located on the box under the hood. So you don't have to go around and flip switches to test. You can test right there on the box. Awesome. The other is through a 6 switch controller. That controller happens to be wireless, which is awesome. So I can walk around the vehicle and turn things on. I don't have to have it.
Is there a range to that?
A typical Bluetooth range, 30 to 100 feet.
Is it Bluetooth based
Yep.
or is it its own thing?
That's Bluetooth based.
Okay.
Which makes the third way to do is an app that
Sure.
integrates with it. With the app, you can see voltage meter. You can see amps per channel. You can actually.
So it's the whole telemetry to the thing.
It is, and you can do fades and fade in and fade out.
So it has per channel like pulse width modulation.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's good for lights.
I demo the Bronco when I take it somewhere and I walk around and our lights look great, but the instant people see that I'm actually using a controller in my hand, they start talking about the controller, versus the light,
Right.
which
It is good and bad.
prior to the acquisition that wasn't necessarily a good thing. Now it's a perfect thing. So that's all good and wonderful. I really, it comes with a four switch system as well. Very similar features to that. You can it's very well done, and the 6 shooter you can wire the holder for the switch is magnetic, so you can take it off.
Okay.
Holder stays there either on the sun visor or wherever you mount it or whatever. But it's one of those things where the 6-shooter can actually charge that unit instead of just running off of like a calculator battery or whatever, a clock battery. But it'll charge it, but it'll also illuminate the the name of the switch,
Okay.
the rocker switch panel. And so I really like that system. And for something that has very similar things that an S-Pod has at half or less than half of the cost at $400 or so, that's where I'm at with it. But it's IP 67 rated. There are two 30 amp, two 10 amps, and two 5 amp fused circuits, so that you can put your higher wattage and higher amped lights or things on the.
They just budgeted out different.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and it is 12 or 24 volt input, so it can do either. And it does come with 6 8-foot long wire harnesses with waterproof connections, so it does make the connecting of those components a little bit easier.
A little more
Yeah.
high and tight. Now, do any of these, I guess one of the thoughts that I had is you started talking about some of the more exotic functions like, the PWM and the, different switching, momentary, all these different operations on some of these. Do they have scene modes? Like, is there anything like, I've done a lot of home automation stuff where, I'll hit a button, but that button's going to like fade up my table lights to full. The back lights are going to be 50%. The overhead lights go on. It's like my nighttime lighting scene, my daytime lighting scene. Do any of them do that where you kind of have a programmability with them, or is it just channel by channel?
When we talked about the aux switch or the aux beam, you can turn everything on and hit on and off button, but that's one.
But I mean, like, you could imagine if, like, you've got this app, I could go to scene 1, and it's going to set me up for...
No, I don't think that.
I got all white lights on my vehicle, and it's going to do this. And scene 2 is going to be multicolor and it looks like a Christmas tree.
I don't think that's something, or at least not advertised on any of them.
Okay, I just was
as
curious.
A functionality.
I always wanted to know if, like, you were aware of any that had some of these more technical, more advanced controllers. Do they have some of those more exotic?
I'm sure that's coming next.
It's just kind of a little more exotic kind of setup for those more advanced situations that people are trying to do.
Yeah, and again, the trigger 6-shooter is mounts are available for different vehicles with that. But I think that's the next game for that, is to be able to set scenes. And
Mikey says S-Pod, you can do it to a certain capacity, probably what channels are on and off. And a lot of the stuff that I do with some of my home automation, you get into different things you're talking to are capable of different things, and different colors and all that. So I wouldn't be surprised either if that's kind of the next wave of functionality that comes out.
I'm betting that's in the future.
I bet. Let's bet.
Yeah, I've loved this discussion. As we start adding things to we need the capability of being able to turn things off, and having a clean system is better than like my initial light bars were ran onto an on-off switch.
Well, I think everybody starts there and then learn that your Jeep can burn to the ground like that.
Right.
Or it supports Alexa, and somebody calls their daughter, Alexa, start the car. And all of a sudden, the buggy starts. It drives.
Yeah.
Kit, I need you on the second floor of the building.
Mm-hmm.
If you have topics that you would like to know about or would like for us to dig into, let us know. If you have a clear winner in that showdown, send it in. Maybe next week we'll announce a winner. For me, I think it's whatever your needs are.
Send in pictures of installs.
Yeah, do that.
If you got, especially you got something like clever and maybe a little out of the box, that'd be kind of neat to see.
It would. All right, Bill, take us home.
Well, if you're looking to share us, tell them to Google Jeep Life Podcast. And you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And that is Jeep Life Podcast on YouTube, Jeep Life Podcast on Facebook, Jeep Life Pod on Instagram. And we also have a Patreon if you'd like to support the podcast a little bit more, or just leave us a review or a comment on any platform. Hit that like and subscribe. Big Jeep wave to you.
See you, everybody. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. That was a really fun episode. It always makes it better when people jump on, and our thanks to you for hanging out with us and all the great commentary that happened. We appreciate it. Thanks. See you guys.